Few have been dedicated to wrestling like Cliff Ramos. He coached for 42 years in multiple states and schools. He spent most of his career at Collins Hill High School, winning multiple state titles.
I made a lot of mistakes early in my career, and I learned from them and kind of prepared me to get to a school like Collins Hill.
Even when he retired, he said, I'll always be green. I'll always be an Eagle.
Ramos retired after coaching more than 1,000 wrestlers. But on this day, he's grabbing the clipboard for what he's calling one more practice, and all of his wrestlers are invited.
18 years old, and I coach somebody who's 60 years old right here.
Nothing's changed from 1976. I mean, you would wrestle for him.
For Ramos, one more practice wasn't a guarantee. After April 8th, 2018, he wasn't sure he'd ever return to the mat.
I worked in the yard for an hour and a half. I played 3 sets of tennis with 3 guys half my age. I went to the gym for an hour. I felt great. The next day I started feeling bad, and then the next day after that I was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. I had no warning. I said to my wife, I've had a good life.
Those were his exact words. You know, time was being snatched away. We just didn't know.
Ramos was stunned, but if there's anything he knows how to do, it's how to put up a good fight.
He's a tough nut. I remember when he was in the hospital at MD Anderson, a nurse practitioner who knew he was a wrestling coach, she made him look in the mirror and say, talk to your wrestlers right now. You keep fighting.
When I initially met my surgeon, he looked at my file and he looked at my scans and he told me, he said, I don't know if I can do this surgery. You're very, very borderline for this surgery because your tumor is wrapped around a very important artery. And then he kept reading my file and he looked at me and he said, you're a wrestling coach? And I said, yes. And he said, you were a wrestler? And I said, yes. And he didn't say anything more about it, but he did the surgery.
Ramos underwent months of chemotherapy to try to shrink the tumor. His only relief was wrestling.
He missed it. He missed it.
It was good therapy.
He came across a book, The Last Lecture, written by a professor with terminal pancreatic cancer. Ramos wrote his own book, One More Practice.
The idea of One More Practice was a reunion. Let me write about it because I didn't know if I would actually be able to do one more practice. So I started feeling better. I thought, you know what, I'm going to try to organize this practice. Mike, it is so good to see you.
How you doing, bud?
What a reunion. Good to see you.
See you as well.
Get your shoes on. Hey, start jogging. Down. Down. And it brought me back like, I'm coaching again. I just love seeing you guys. That was weak. This way. Drop step.
What a wonderful opportunity just to be here today. Here with the coach and his wife who have just changed so many lives.
You have given the greatest gift to a coach who loved you dearly.
Cliff Ramos held one more practice, but by no means does he hope it's his last. If he's up for it, he hopes to help a team in the fall.
Tonight gave him the opportunity to just remember, you know, all that he's lived for.
It's a wonderful day. I'm going to remember this day. I don't know how much time I've got left, but I'll remember it for a long, long time.